This is a story about two men, Jimmy and Robert. Jimmy is tall and thin. Robert has long blonde hair. Unfortunately, both Jimmy and Robert are unemployed. One day, Jimmy gets an interview with Apple. Robert applies to Microsoft and gets an interview. And they both get interviews. When Jimmy interviews with Apple, he meets the interviewer and offers a limp handshake. A limp handshake is very weak, very soft. In fact, Robert interviews with Bill Gates. Bill Gates comes back to Microsoft to interview Robert. Robert gives a firm handshake to Bill Gates. Unfortunately, Robert gets drunk the night before the interview. Well, he feels hungover. He's hungover. To be hungover is to feel very tired and weak after being drunk. In fact, during the interview, Robert throws up onto Bill Gates. He threw up on Bill Gates, so he doesn't get the job. It was a limp handshake at Apple, and then the interviewer scowls at him. Well, Jimmy goes home, and he realizes he had a bad handshake, so he practices giving a firm handshake. Each day he practices his handshake, he practices giving a firm handshake, and he sends out resumes to companies. Robert also sends out resumes to big companies. Finally, Jimmy gets another interview, this time at Facebook. In fact, Jimmy interviews with Mark Zuckerberg. Jimmy's body language is weak. Actually, Jimmy's speaking is very good. Jimmy's a good speaker, but his nonverbal communication is bad. Next. Robert interviews at Virgin, the Virgin Company, with Richard Branson. The night before the interview, he eats a bean burrito. And so, during the interview, Robert farts. He farts loudly during the job interview with Richard Branson. He doesn't get the job at Virgin. Jimmy, after his interview, goes home to practice more. This time, he practices his smile and his nonverbal communication. Jimmy develops a winning smile. He also develops an air of confidence. Meanwhile, Robert realizes that he doesn't want a corporate job. He changes his mind. So instead, he sends a series of letters to hair salons, places that cut and dye and color hair. And finally, Robert gets an interview with a hair salon. Meanwhile, Jimmy gets an interview with the Gibson Guitar Company. During his interview at the Gibson Guitar Company, Jimmy has an air of confidence. He smiles, his head is up, and he has a firm handshake. He shows the company his resume and portfolio. He communicates confidently. He does so well, they offer him the job of president. Meanwhile, Robert goes to his interview at the hair salon. When the interviewer sees his beautiful, long, blonde hair, he says, "Wow, your hair is fabulous." And Robert is hired immediately. They become happily employed.
Unemployed.